St. John's Co-Cathedral. Wow, look at this place. It's a stunning example of High Baroque architecture. It also has what's often called the most beautiful floor in the world. Take a walk with me. I'm going to unlock some of its signs, symbols, and secrets. The Knights of St. John, who built this church, believed in the concept of memento mori, a Latin phrase that means, remember you must die. That's why they left messages on their tombstones. They wanted to remind us that we should live our best lives now, because one day we'll be in a grave too. Now, there are nearly 400 tombstones lying on the floor of the cathedral. These belong to rich and prominent, powerful members of the Knights of St. John. On these tombstones, we'll find symbols and messages so that the knights could speak to us from beyond the grave. Let's take a look at this tombstone belonging to a knight called Don Gaspar de Figueira. Here we have a skeleton representing death, holding a scythe as well. Skeleton is blowing the trumpet of fame, talking about how great and important this knight was. Here we have a clock, but no hands on the clock, possibly symbolizing eternity. Then you have wings on the clock. Time passes and you can't stop it. And here we have something for us to reflect on. This Latin inscription right here. His hour has come and yours will come. On this tombstone, here we've got death, and he's approaching the family tree of the dead knight. And look, with an axe, death has cut one of the branches of the tree because death has claimed a member of that family. Here we have a skeleton in a shroud inside a cell. This symbolizes how this knight was in a cell, imprisoned by life. But, as the inscription says here, death is the end of a dark prison. When this knight died, he was released from life and he went up into heaven. Now, this tomb belongs to a French knight who apparently died of arthritis when he was 79. On it, we can see this woman. She's holding a book. Maybe it's a Bible. But what's really interesting is the foot. Look at her foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 toes. Now, we don't know if this was a mistake by the craftsman who designed the tomb, or possibly it's some kind of joke that's been lost over the centuries. This tomb belongs to Thomas de Village. Now, on it is this 6-pointed star. It looks like the Star of David, but it's much more likely that this is the Seal of Solomon, a Masonic symbol. This knight was possibly a Freemason, and this is a sign to brother Masons in the future to let them know that he was a Freemason. But if he was, he shouldn't have been, because the Knights of St. John were prevented from joining Freemasons. This is the last resting place of Claude Saint-Simon. And here he is. Look, he's being taken by death. And the chains of his life binding him to his mortal body here on earth, well, they're being broken by Father Time. It's the end of his life. On this tombstone found in the Chapel of France, we have an inscription. It says, Flecta lumina, quisquis es, mortalitatum ad noce. And this means, bend down with your lighted candles, whoever you are, and acknowledge your mortality. Now, once upon a time, visitors to the cathedral would have to use candles to find their way around because it was really quite dark in here. So this is actually an instruction to the visitors of the cathedral. Now, there's an important thing we have to remember about the tombstones of St. John's Co-Cathedral. They have been moved. In the early 1800s, there was an anti-Baroque movement, especially in Malta, led by a Maltese artist called Giuseppe Hisler. He rearranged the tombstones in the cathedral, particularly in the nave. They were rearranged according to size, shape, colour, and the rank of the knight. So, when you're walking around the cathedral today and you tread on the tombstone of a Knight of St. John, bear in mind, he might actually be somewhere else. For more tales of the terrible and stories of the strange, take a guided tour with Dark Mortar Tours.